going? You know, I love this show so much, and one of the reasons I love it is I get to talk about important things and have conversations that I believe matter, and today is no exception. Something I've been thinking about a lot recently is the power of words and language. Because if you think about it, some words and how we use them and how we understand them can change our entire view of the world. And for as long as I can remember, the word terrorist has been an insult towards Muslim people. In everything, movies, TV shows, from South Park to Roseanne, there's always a trope about, oh, there's new Muslim neighbors, are they a terrorist? Oh, it's just a local town terrorist. Wave at Khalid, everyone. And I'm just sitting here watching this like, not only is it not funny, it's lazy. Y'all lazy. And I personally really empathize with my Muslim pals because I grew up Sikh. Sikh as in the religion, not as in sick, although Sikhs are sick. After 9/11 happened, we had to become full-time racism deflectors because people would think we were terrorists just because we were brown. And it was awkward and unfortunate because we didn't want to defend ourselves by saying, oh, you're incorrect, sorry, I know you are calling me Muslim, but I'm not Muslim, I'm Sikh, because then it just justifies that if I was Muslim, they could call me a terrorist. It was all just, I hate it so much. Because we're not trying to throw another religious group under the bus. You know why? That sounds a lot like terrorism, and we're not about that. And this is just one example of how words can impact the lives of an entire community, and we take in these words every day. Subconsciously, we're tuning in, listening to the news, hearing the words like little chia pets, subconsciously watering it, just terrorist. And what happened over time? Every tragedy that involved a person of color was labeled terrorism, and every tragedy that was not a person of color was considered a mental health issue. But don't just listen to me, let me show you some real examples. San Bernardino shooting, considered a terrorist attack. Charleston church shooting, oh no, this is just a troubled kid. Bomb goes off in a subway, no doubt terrorist attack. Bomb goes off in Nashville and almost takes out an entire block. Oopsie poopsie, not sure if a terrorist would do this, so. A brown guy goes crazy and kills 8 people in New York, definitely a terrorist, probably ISIS. And later that month, a guy in Las Vegas guns down 500 people, killing 60 of them, which goes down in history as the largest mass shooting in American history, but we can't be so quick to call it terrorism. Hold up, now I already know right now some of you are gonna take out your phone, open Twitter, and at me like, Lily, stop being such a baby. These are just words, okay? Sticks and stones may break your bones, words can't hurt. No one's getting injured at a poetry slam. Okay, but jokes aside, can we be real? Words are the most common tool used to harm others. Because sure, calling it the China virus or Kung flu may just be stupid and racist, but then you realize things like this. Violence against Asian Americans is going up, and you realize, oh, that's actually dangerous. Making jokes about Jews controlling space lasers and George Soros paying off protesters sounds kooky, and then you realize, oh, anti-Semitism is on the rise everywhere. And seeing news story after news story of black people described as thugs or gangbangers may not seem very scary until you realize that these racial biases have very real consequences. And by consequences, I mean everything from the laws we write to the justice we uphold. Words matter. You know, I always try to see the silver lining, I try to see the positive. The good news is that words can also help make a meaningful change. And that's why it's so refreshing to see that Canada has labeled the Proud Boys as a terrorist organization, officially. It's like someone turned off the gaslight for 2 seconds and thought, oh, well, if they walk like a terrorist and talk like a terrorist and attack like a terrorist, maybe they're more dangerous than your Muslim neighbor who'll come over and drink sparkling grape juice instead of have a drink with you. Language matters, y'all, and I'm happy that we're finally seeing racial equality when it comes to how we label terrorist groups. White people have just as much a right to sit on that FBI's most wanted list than brown people. Congratulations, Proud Boys, on breaking the terrorism's glass ceiling. All I'm saying is the next time I turn on TV and there's a funny bit about terrorism, his name better be Greg.